Hey guys, this is going to be a review of Star Trek Discovery Season 2, Episode 10, The Red Angel, and I actually wrote reviews on my blog for the last quite a few episodes. I think the last one I filmed a video for was like episode 4 of this season or something. So all of the other episodes that I've written reviews for will be in the description, so you can go check out those blog posts if you want. We finally get to see Michael and Ash interact again, and as someone who ships them together quite a bit, I appreciated seeing them interact again. But basically the scene boils down to Michael telling Ash that she can't trust him because his loyalties lie with Section 31, and Section 31 created Control, who killed Arium and things. And this doesn't really make sense to me because Admiral Cornwell in the last episode made it sound like all of Starfleet uses Control, even if it was in Section 31's control. So her being mad at Ash specifically doesn't really make sense to me, but then I also know that she's grieving, and it's kind of dealt with later when she tells him that it wasn't fair to him, so I do understand it from the point of view of her grieving at the time. At the end of the last episode, Arium told Michael to find Project Daedalus, and in this episode, Tilly comes in and interrupts their meeting and says that she's found a file titled Project Daedalus in Arium's data, and it's a biosignature for the Red Angel, and it turns out that biosignature is Michael. So I feel like this is the moment where everything starts like really building up for the finale of the season. We also get more of Leland and Georgiou in this episode because they arrive to help stop Control, which makes sense since Section 31 did create it, so it makes sense that they would help stop it. But I'm really excited about that because Georgiou is probably my favorite character, and so I'm always happy to see more of her. And they explained that Project Daedalus was a Section 31 project to discover time travel because the Klingons were studying time travel and they wanted to beat the Klingons to it. There's a scene in this episode where Georgiou, Tilly, and Stamets are together, and then Culber like walks in and things are tense between him and Stamets because of everything that's been happening. But Georgiou tries to flirt with Stamets, and it's clearly because she really enjoys everyone being comfortable, and she's very purposefully making everyone uncomfortable. But like, even as an audience member, like watching it, that was one of the most uncomfortable things I've ever watched before, and is probably like the most uncomfortable scene in Discovery. Because of Georgiou, Michael gets Leland to admit that Michael's parents were working on Project Daedalus, and he's the reason that they had died because they needed a time crystal and they needed the star to go supernova, and so he was the reason Michael's parents were there when the Klingons attacked them. It's always interesting when like different storylines kind of weave and come together. I almost find it interesting how much remorse Leland seems to show for that though, because it seems very strange for his character, because his character is so like used to blurred lines and doing things that like necessarily are like very like gray morally. So the fact that he's so like seems so genuinely sorry that his actions have resulted in their deaths is interesting to me, and interesting from a character perspective for him. I think it rounds him out a bit and makes him more sympathetic and also more interesting because of that, I think. Michael and Spock have a heart-to-heart in this episode that I love. I think it might be my favorite scene in this episode. When I first watched this season, I don't think I expected to love their relationship as much as I came to, but I really think that the relationship they have with each other is very interesting and very well developed, and it was nice seeing that moment between them. They also realize in this episode that the angel appears whenever Michael's life is in danger, and that's the variable that they were looking for. So they decide that they're going to put Michael's life in danger as bait to make the angel appear. When the time comes that they have Michael strapped in and she's dying and they're waiting for the angel and the angel's not coming, Georgiou is the first person who like demands that they go and save Michael, whereas Spock wants to wait and refuses to go and blocks the door and won't let any of them through. I loved that moment because Georgiou is such like a cold person, seemingly doesn't care about anything and all of that, and it's shown repeatedly that she does care about Michael. Hi Mickey. You can really see that she does care about Michael and she's trying to like help her, and I really love that, and I really love getting her, like I mentioned earlier with Leland being more fleshed out, I think we get that with Georgiou too, and I really like that because I think it would be easy to make them more like one-dimensional, but it's nice to have these characters that are very like gray morally but show that there are things that affect them and things that they care about and things like that. And I just really love the juxtaposition of Georgiou being this like cold character, but like saving Michael is one area where like she does actually care. This episode ends with the computer system on Section 31's ship not listening to Leland, so something is wrong with it, and then the Red Angel finally appears and Michael realizes that it's her mom. So we have two big cliffhangers, and actually I've already written the review for this episode, like the next episode, episode 11, and I'm going to post it today before this video comes up, so it'll already be on my blog, so I will link to that review below. The dog almost walked into the tripod. He's blind, so he can't see it. He's standing very close right now. So I'll link that review if you want to hear more about what I think about how both of those go, but I will see you guys later. Bye.